Capital Community Television, in cooperation with the City of Salem, presents the ASA Girls 18A Western National Fast Pitch Softball Tournament from Wallace Marine Park in Salem, Oregon. Today's game features the Benicia Outlaws versus the Hillsboro Diamondbacks 2002. Hi everybody, I'm Alan Bushong. I'm joined by Steve Norris here. We get to bring you a winner's bracket game, a third round winner's bracket game. And Steve, I've not seen the Diamondbacks play. I hope that they're a competitive team. I've seen Benicia play 2 games. They were both 3-inning run rule games, and they were just about as dominant as a team could be.
Wow, that bodes well for us in our matchup here. You can't get to this point and not have some skill. Here we go.
Yes, we are, and we're leading off. We're going to see Benicia is not a Southern California team. They're a different regional. We're going to see on the Benicia roster here, we've got number 21, Caitlin Chambers. She's playing shortstop, probably, Katie Chambers. Thank you, Steve, for doing the roster here. She's a left-handed hitter. She can slap, bunt, hit away, tons of speed. Let's see what happens here. Quick 2 strikes on her. Diamondbacks. They're 2 Hillsboro Diamondbacks team. This happens to be the 2002 team. And I don't have their pitcher numbered in the roster. Oh, yes we do.
Number 22?
Yeah, Natalie Harrop. So Natalie Harrop pitching, she's got a 1-2 count. And that ends up being about the easiest put out that she'll have all day. A comebacker to the pitcher, an easy 1-3. And that's an important out because the leadoff hitter there, Katie Chambers, has tons of speed.
It's always a relief when you get the leadoff hitter out.
Well, and after seeing what Benicia has done, if we look at what they've done in the tournament again, defeating in their opening game the Washington Synergy 11-2, and then coming back later in the day to beat the Northwest Vandals 12-0. This is a potent lineup, and what I was impressed by, Steve, is the fact that the bottom of the lineup is just about as offensively effective as the top of the lineup. They're just, what I saw, there were very few easy outs, and there was nobody who was an easy out every time through in the rotation.
That sure puts the pressure on the defense every single pitch.
And we've got Haley Randall up now, second base, the middle of the infield being the first 2 hitters for Benicia. About the only thing I saw Benicia do wrong yesterday, in the middle of a 6-run inning, they tried to double steal and got both runners thrown out. If they hadn't, it probably would have been a 12-run inning. I kidded their coach about it. I said, "You do any more double steals?" And he said, "No," he said, "we're not the fastest team in the tournament." Well, what a way to start the game for the Diamondbacks. 2 comebackers to the pitcher, and we've got Haley Randall really holding a wrist now, or an elbow.
I didn't see what happened there.
I didn't see what happened either. The ball looked like, I don't believe the ball could have come back and hit her. I don't know if we're going to get another look at this. No, it was on the swing.
Yeah, she was holding her elbow coming out of the box, her wrist.
Something happened on that swing, and that's most unfortunate. You hate to see any injuries to either team. We'll hope that Haley Randall is okay. Anyway, it's going to bring up Elisa Cueva, the right fielder. And again, the 2 games that I saw these teams play, everybody hit. There were no easy outs. In fact, those were the 2 easiest outs that I've seen. And I'm sure that Natalie Harrop has something to do with that. That ball Outlaws hit a ton into the air, but not long enough. A little bit too high. So Reza Cueva flies out, and that is a great start for the Diamondbacks in this game, getting a 3 up and 3 down in the top of the first.
Well, right away you can see the Outlaws, they're free swingers. They're not up there to look. And they did a great job of swinging the bat. We'll just see. This is a game of adjustments. How will they adjust to the pitching, and how will the pitchers adjust to their adjustments?
A lot of teams you see take a lot of pitches, I think, trying to get deep into the pitcher. The Outlaws, I think their primary thing is to say, we'll hit any one of your pitches. Your pitcher isn't going to last very long anyway. And in the games that we've seen, the pitchers didn't last very long. We saw them first ball hitting. We saw them anything that looked good, and they were very effective again up and down the lineup. But the Diamondbacks now get an opportunity. They're going to face Rachel McClure. Rachel, I was looking to see the pitchers that I've seen pitch for Benicia, and they have a nice rare thing going on here. Benicia is starting their third different pitcher in 3 games, Stephen. I don't see too many teams do that. They opened with Kate Gillum in the game that we did here on Field 1, and then the game yesterday, I'm trying to think who pitched in that game, but it was neither Rachel McClure nor Kate Gillum. So they've got riches. In fact, I think it was Amanda Ajari who's probably playing third base right now, and she is. So what a luxury to be in your second day of bracket play, and your pitcher is fresh.
Boy, I tell you what, you can never have enough quality pitching. And hats off to the coaches. Carry that many pitchers, they want to pitch. They do all that extra work to practice their craft. It's nice that they can use everyone.
Well, it certainly is. We got Mackenzie Harper up first, playing second base. Well, we've seen some wide strike zones, but none as wide as it would have been necessary for that first pitch to be called a strike. It'll be interesting. I was saying for CCTV, I'd love for us to have that ball strike box, which I think has probably done more to standardize and make regular the ball strike calling in Major League Baseball. I'm amazed how much better the ball strike calling is. It used to be a slide with it broke 6 inches outside before the plate was a called strike, and it's not a called strike anymore.
Absolutely. Well, that's one of those adjustments. Pitchers need to adjust to their pitching circle. They need to adjust to the umpire's particular strike zone. Everybody has adjustments to make, and can you make those adjustments and maintain your poise?
Well, as often happens, you get the ball on the glove. Good job by Katie Chambers to get to the ball. But a leadoff hitter is going to have enough speed in order to beat the throw, and that's what we have right there. Gotta almost always make a clean play to get a leadoff hit.
That was tough. That ball was low and tailing away from her, and
it's going to. They go for the sure out there. Smart thing to do. Baseball and softball are games measured in outs. So Carmen Sawfield advances the runner. So with one out, we have a runner in second.
And Mags Scenario is our hitter, number 12.
She's a designated player in this game. Steve, explain this to us. I think you can either have 9 or 10 players bat in this game. Is that correct? If you don't have a designated player, you go with 9?
Yes, you can play 10 if you designated one of your defensive players. They're the flex. They play defense only, and you can have an additional player as the designated player, and they only hit.
Is there any way that you think's a better way to approach the game, or just whatever works for your team?
part of it is your makeup of your team, but oftentimes the designated player also is the kid who's going to pitch next, so they can hit and then stay warm in between innings to come in to pitch, and they don't have to come out of right field or shortstop to pitch.
3-0 count here. That's a first strike, but the Diamondbacks 2002, and Hillsboro has two Diamondbacks teams. I mean, maybe that's a club that sends forward two, but they have the 01 team and then they have the 2002 team. That's the one that we're seeing here. They're on the verge of having two runners on base. That was close. 3-1 count. She drops down the bunt.
And we move her into scoring position at third base.
That's right, and that's going to bring up the catcher. Looks like Natalie Dole. She's got a chance to put her team in front with 2 outs. And she's got a lot of that ball, but a little too high to get out of the park. And that's going to do the inning. So Hillsboro with a chance. Got their leadoff hitter on, advanced her around third, but were able to put her across the plate. So Steve, at the end of the first inning, they're right where we started. Well, we want to welcome everybody that's watching online. People are watching in Salem. They know what CCTV can do. If you're watching online, I want to let you know that we're going to be doing 8 or 9 games in this tournament, and we appreciate you watching and hope you enjoy our coverage. We have a terrific crew out here today, trying to look around and see who's where. Don's over on the wide sweep camera that's going to be doing game, and I think Dylan's on 4. And I'm going to guess that Brian Penrose is on 2. Ken Hook's directing. Ron Kraut's going to be doing replay. John Clement is going to be shading. This is Sun Crew. You don't see community TV organizations do the kind of stuff that you're going to see us do today. We hope you enjoy the show. I'm normally working in the truck, but we're trying to do as many games here at tournament time as possible. And Steve, we're trying to cover these winners bracket games because we're seeing really high caliber play.
Absolutely. There's some pretty talented teams out here. And one of the things at this level that you see is you see really good hitting, defense, pitching. It's a complete package.
So Amanda Azari is who pitched the second game yesterday and played third base in the first game, playing third base again. She takes an outside pitch. She's a cleanup hitter, and we've seen her with a fair amount of pop in her bat.
Well, she's not batting in the 4th spot for no particular reason, that's for sure.
She is more accustomed to having somebody on base, though, than leading off the inning. And that'll be a great, I think, for the Diamondbacks, just trying to keep the base runners, just trying to avoid base runners. A 2-1 count. We're from Wallace Marine Park. It's a beautiful place. A little bit cloudy today. And that ball sneaks through. Well, once you get the ball by the pitcher, you've got one heck of a chance of being on base.
Solid base hit up the middle.
Good timing of the ball here, and just sneaks under the glove of the shortstop. Pretty tough, though, to knock that ball down, get up, and throw out a runner. And that's going to bring up Kate Gillum. She's a designated player in this game. We've seen her pitch. Well, it's a fielder's choice. It's a 1-6. 1-6 fielder's choice. Gillum is on first base and the first out. And again, the Diamondbacks doing a good job here against a team that's been hard to handle. Brings up Jennifer McHugh, who is catching in this game. She's caught in both games that we've seen. Ball's up a little bit.
That's always a luxury.
Count.
Excuse me. That's always a luxury too. If you have an additional kid who can catch, that gives you quality catching. Because playing all weekend, your catcher can get a little tired in their legs.
And Steve, who do you have for pitcher? 22 on the roster in the book is Natalie Harrop. Is that who you have for pitching?
Yes. Let me confirm that. Yes, number 1.
That ball's hit a ton, but it's hit also about 40 feet foul. Now, I think it's so important for the pitchers to use both the inside, use all parts of the plate, inside and outside. We see the pitchers that just use the outside really get into a lot of trouble, and the pitchers that we've seen be most successful know how to use that inside corner.
Good job on the outside pitch, just went foul. Absolutely, the pitchers that give hitters a lot of trouble who can change speeds and change locations.
We're at a 2-2 count here on Jennifer McHugh. 1 out and a runner on first. One of the most impressive bats that we've seen was actually against the Outlaws. They didn't get up that many runs, but we saw somebody foul off something like 7 pitches with a 2-strike count and then hit a home run.
Oh my.
I guess if she'd seen every pitcher that pitcher had,
indeed.
By that point she knew what to do with it. Just going to have runners on second and third at the end of this play. And a nice job of hitting by Jennifer McHugh. Isn't it something to have a catcher that can hit like that?
Well, she fouled off a couple outside pitches, and then she brought it inside, and she drove it into center field. Nice bit of hitting.
It's going to bring up Alyssa West, who's played first base, I believe, in every one of the games that we've seen them play. Got an open base here. We've got a left-handed hitter. She's not really a slap hitter this far down, and not a slap and front hitter. Benicia's pretty aggressive on the base paths. So I have a sense that if anything's hit on the ground, unless it's right at the pitcher, the runner's coming home.
Yep, I would imagine they're reading angle down. Ball hit to the brown stuff, they're going to go.
Working that inside part of the plate, and even though it's not a strike, I think that's a smart thing to do. Wow, the runner went all the way from second to third, but the runner from third did not take the plate. Unassisted ground ball put out to the first base. Somewhat surprised the runner didn't come home once the first baseman turned her back.
Yeah. Part of that, there's kind of an old adage, you try not to make outs at home. But with 1 out, you never know.
Well, now there are 2 outs, and Jen Bossa, the center fielder, is up. She takes a strike. Not big, but we saw she has pop in her bat, and she has something else. She can run. She puts the ball down and bunts, and she can run. Don't expect to see that with 2 out.
Nice effort.
Really good effort, and an 0 and almost there, and now an 0-2 count. So Hillsboro within 1 strike of getting out of a little bit of a jam.
Boy, this would be big for them if they could.
Real momentum builders. We've talked about it. Adjustments and momentum. Ball gets away, but not far. Catcher does a really nice job. Natalie Dole does a nice job of blocking it. And there's not a big amount of space here to the backstop, Steve. And the ball can get away, and it's still very difficult to score from third base.
It has to go horizontally rather than vertically.
We've even seen balls bounce back within a couple feet of the plate. And we've seen runners quite surprised by the ball not getting farther away. So 2-2, 2 out in the second inning. Deuces are wild on this pitch. A full count. The runners really can't do much of anything at all, being on second and third. And that's what I was telling you. I've seen her play. She gets, for a right-handed batter, out of that right side of the batter's box, she gets out of there extremely fast. See if we can take a look at this and see what happens. Look at the speed that happens on this.
I think also the third baseman maybe underestimated and took a little extra shuffle she'd like to have back.
That and the throw was high and pulled the first baseman up. And I think both of those factors, if fielded ideally, that's the third out of the inning. Now here's what, Steve, this is my favorite play in softball that I prefer to see before two outs. First and third, and what are you going to do? Because your runner on first base can move. She has total wheels. I think she's significantly faster. Now the only play that I've seen that the Outlaws would like back in the two games, I saw them try a double steal in this situation with nobody out, and both runners got thrown out on the base paths. Shortstop cut off the throw to second base, threw to the plate for the out. The runner advanced from second, had taken second, tried to advance to third, and was thrown out at third. We know that won't happen because there's already two outs. Here we go, and I would not be surprised at all to see that runner on first go.
Oftentimes coaches will see a pitch first just to see if they can see what the defensive structure is to defend the double steal.
And if we look at this field again, up the middle, if you get it by the pitcher.
And they're going to concede second base.
They concede second base, but they've also conceded the second strike. This is Megan Chambers, the left fielder. She faces an 0-2 count. Ball was well outside. And again, what I've seen from this team, and no mean to jinx her, but they've been pretty productive at the bottom of the lineup. They're not easy outs once you get past that number 5 hitter.
Well, and you would like to get out of this inning so you don't have to face the top of the lineup again with your bases loaded. That would not be a good thing. Way to compete.
Yeah, Megan Chambers and Natalie Harrop are locked in this at bat. 2-2 count. And it may have hit her, and it did.
I believe so.
So the bases will be loaded. This is going to bring up Rachel McClure. No, it doesn't. McClure being batted for by the designated player, and we are back to the leadoff hitter, Katie Chambers, who grounded out first, pitcher to first, the first of 2 such ground outs at the top of the first inning. And that's going to score 2 with this team. Well, Steve, you're the prophet. You said you don't want to face the top of the lineup, and the top of the lineup delivers a 2-run single. Nice hitting job here by Katie Chambers. Watch what she does here. She doesn't overswing, doesn't try to overdrive the ball. Perfect hitting. It's going to bring up Haley Randall. And again, I'm not surprised at how the bottom of the lineup actually creates the big inning.
It's such a strength when your bottom of the lineup can set the table for your top half.
And we have a very fast runner on first base, so we're still looking at that first and third. The coach having told me that they're not the fastest team, but they've got 2 super fast players in Katie Chambers and then Jen Bassa. She's evened up the count here at 1-1. We have 2 outs in the top of the second inning. The Outlaws are the first to strike.
Now have 2 runners in scoring position.
And that's right, they did not contest the taking second base. That hit batsman also comes back to haunt you with happening with 2 outs.
Right here, girl. Let's go, Matt. You got this, kid.
Well, that's her second time of that. I'm sure Haley Randall's going to not want to do that again. She grounds pitcher back up the middle, unless you're going to chop it pretty hard and get it over the pitcher's head. That's going to be a pretty easy out. However, the Outlaws strike first here with good hitting by that bottom of the lineup and a clutch single by leadoff hitter Katie Chambers to take the 3-0 lead.
I'm impressed with their lineup. There's no, like you said, there's no holes in their lineup, and they're all very adept at base running, and we've seen some solid bunting and some power hitting.
They may have an Achilles heel. I just haven't seen it. Now, their pitchers are not power pitchers, though. They're not the pitchers, and I have not seen in this tournament, I haven't seen that classic 18-year-old pitcher that's throwing a 64-mile-an-hour fastball, and just nobody can get around on her. But maybe that pitcher exists in this tournament, and we'll find out later.
Towards your earlier mark about pitching, oftentimes the kids you're describing, that 64-mile-an-hour pitcher, she's playing gold, and so oftentimes you get good pitchers, but not the great pitchers at the 18A level.
That's a good point. So here we go. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Those are the kids we're going to see pitching on Saturdays.
Those D1 recruits that are going to be on the UCLAs, the Arizonas, and even U of O if they can recover from their coach having headed to Texas. So here we go. Madeline Leach leading off, and we've talked about adjustment and response. This is a time that the Diamondbacks need to respond. They need to put runners on base and show the Outlaws that they're able to put runs up on the board.
And conversely, the Outlaws pitcher needs to honor those 2 runs and do a great job of putting a 0 on the board for her team.
She wastes a pitch at 0-2. I think that's pretty smart to not throw your best pitch, but to not throw in a foot outside. I think the batter at least think about it. Again, the Outlaws, 3. This is their 3rd bracket game and their 3rd starting pitcher. Well, she got all of it. She just got out ahead of it.
She turned on that one, didn't she?
Oh, my goodness.
All right, you got this. Have fun out there, Madeline. Madeline, they're back. Base it here now.
Good cheering section for these teams. And she's worked the count back from 0-2 to 3-2.
One thing about it, this time of the summer, these kids have seen an awful lot of pitching. They have a pretty good idea what's a strike and what isn't.
I'm sure Rachel McClure does not want to put a free pass on.
Have fun out there, girl.
Worst thing you can do after getting a lead is to give away base runners, which she just did. Nice start to the inning here for Diamondbacks, and a good job in that at bat by Madeline Leach, working back from an 0-2 count.
One of those things that gives coaches gray hairs is when you walk the leadoff kid.
It's going to bring up the pitcher. Yes, it's going to bring up the pitcher for Hillsboro, Natalie Harrop, who gets a chance to do something to lower this deficit.
Here we go, Juice. Come on, Matt.
Evens up the count at 1-1. Again, we've just not seen the power pitchers. We haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. I've seen now 5 games. So this is actually the 7th game that I've seen. We've recorded 4. I watched 2. That's well hit.
Oh, well done.
And that's different than what we saw in the first game, where we saw 2 balls at the wall that the player could get to but couldn't control. The ball fell out of the glove for a home run. But this is something I saw yesterday with the Outlaws too. They gave up a couple hits right to the wall. So even though they won games convincingly, you can hit their pitchers. Brian Alosa, the third baseman.
Going on the pitch. Well, it's possible too. They have 3 kids who pitch, but they're also position players. So, you know, oftentimes the kids who are really the high power pitchers are just spend their time pitching. She's going.
It's almost a given. We've learned this, that if a throw beats the runner, the umpire will call out. Steve, we've actually learned, and on that case, I think that is a correct call, and it was a really nice throw because she got a good jump. But we've actually shown that a lot of times the throw beats the runner, but the tag is late. We actually brought umpires in from a national tournament one time to show it to them. We slowed it down because we see things in 4 angles in slow-mo. However, nice play there by the catcher to get that 2 to 4 put out on and take the base runner off the paths.
Well, and she was running on the previous pitch that was a foul ball, so that kind of gave the catcher a little bit of a heads up.
And you know, you can't fault the Diamondbacks from doing that. If that's their style play, and if she's been successful most of the year in stealing, getting that runner in that scoring position is good. However, it has shortened the inning. And the inning's over on a watched third strike. So we'll take a look at this here. Kind of froze her and called third strike. And that's the end of the inning. So at the ending of 2 full, the Eugene Outlaw, it's actually it's not the Eugene Outlaws, it's the Benicia Outlaws. Are up 3-0. Benicia Outlaws from Benicia, California. They're a North Bay team. Again, the Southern California teams, this is a regional competition. And Southern California has a region to itself, and it's a killer region. We've had tournaments here before where the top 8 placing teams, the northernmost one was Santa Clarita, which is 30 miles north of LA. So in some ways, I'm sad to see that actually we're not getting nationals now. Maybe we need another 5 softball fields to get the true national. But when you see the quality of the play of these Southern California and Arizona teams, it's jaw-dropping.
Well, it certainly is, and they certainly have the weather going for them and the population density. And some of those teams have been very, very competitive for some time now.
And so Benicia did exactly what you said they needed to do, Steve. They put up another 0 on the board, and the walk ended up not hurting them with the runner being thrown out at second base. So now they bring up...
Looks like Alicia Cueva.
Yes.
Number 10.
And she flew out to left field in the first inning, which was a very successful inning. For Natalie Harrop, the Diamondback pitcher.
It's the first pitch.
They just got so much pop in their bat. And again, I am normally think make that pitcher, but you know what? That pitcher, they're going to see that pitcher. Now their players in the third inning are seeing the pitcher for the second time, deep into the lineup. I think you can overdo that taking pitches. They see plenty of pitches because they get so many runners on base.
And very often, the first pitch may be the best pitch you see.
Pitcher trying to get ahead in the count. Now we have Amanda Ojari,
who singled up the middle last time.
And scored in that very productive. Good job there at shortstop, getting the show out. She might have gone to second base, but the last thing you want is 2 on and no one out.
Yep. If you get 7 complete innings, that's 21 outs. Don't make it harder than it needs to be.
It's going to bring up Kate Gillum, who we saw pitch game 1 yesterday, or the first game in bracket play. And she gave up 2 home runs, and other than that, 1 hit. She gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, and her team won on run rule. First baseman came down in time. So we have the second out of the inning, a chopped ball at third base. Good job by Brianna Losa to get that ball to first base. Throw was high, but the fielder, first baseman, came down. Also a good job there by Carmen Salfeld. Is it going to drop? It is going to drop, and that's run number 4.
Ball had eyes, as they say.
And there's something about this. When you are competitive on every at-bat and every pitch, you end up getting breaks like that, just because you always have the ball in play.
Absolutely.
Catcher is, we have a courtesy runner for the catcher. She gets to put those shin guards on again. Can't see exactly who it is. I've got a number 19, and I don't see a number 19 on the roster for Benicia. Looking at the program book, Steve's got his handy-dandy phone that he's taken pictures of the... That foul ball came off the foot of Alyssa West.
Old guy with a smartphone here, just give me a moment.
I know that and I live that, Steve, so it's easy for me to understand. We've got 2 out here in the second inning. The Outlaws from Benicia have put 1 across. Have a runner, a courtesy runner. And that will end the inning. That's a really nice changeup. So there's a called strike. However, Benicia picks up 1 more run on 2 hits. There were no errors. They leave a runner on base. And look at that changeup drop in there, perfectly framed by the catcher. Nice job. So Hillsboro gets out of the inning, but they're going to need to shut down this Benicia team. They've got to start generating their own offense. Easier said than done. They've got to generate their own offense, but they've got to try to slow this Benicia team down, though nobody else has slowed them down. I don't know what they did in pool play on Thursday, but I have a feeling they were pretty good.
Well, I think the best thing that the Diamondbacks need to do is just not panic and just chip away, make opportunities. Their opponents, the Outlaws, scored a run, but really only had one hit, 2 hits. You know, they had 2 fielders' choices, advanced runners, hit behind runners. Just maximize your opportunities, and like you said, if you get the ball in play, good things are going to happen to you or for you.
So we're going to start off with Alexis Murphy, who's playing left field in this game. She's going to lead off for the Diamondbacks 2002. Not the 01 team, the 2002 team. And you don't want to jinx a team, but in talking with the Outlaws coach, the Benicia Outlaws coach, he said that when I said I'm most impressed with your hitting throughout the lineup, he said what's been really good for us has been our fielding. And I have to say that I don't remember them giving up extra outs. So, and you made that point too, Steve. They got 21 of them if it goes 7 innings, 18 if it goes 6. And if you give a team too many extra ones, there's going to be runners crossing the plate.
Absolutely.
Ball's high.
Comes in. Well played.
Just a little too high to do any harm.
I think the wind maybe held it up just a little bit for her.
Brings up Madison Skull. She's playing center field. And there is a breeze that's coming in. I think anything high in the air, it's going to mess with. That's a nicely bunted ball. And that's an out. That was played about as perfectly as you're going to play it. The bunt was perfect. The pitcher attacked perfectly. First base. This is going to be a fun one to watch and replay. Everybody does everything right here. Got the perfect distance on the bunt. Look at this ball coming in. Kaboom! That foot's about 8 inches off the base, and a brilliant job there by the pitcher to field and throw.
Jumped on that and made a money throw. That ball was trouble.
Yeah. How would you score it, Steve? I'm going to make the official score on that one.
I would call that an error.
I think you're right.
Tough play, but still.
E4, you get your glove on it. You gotta be able to field that. That puts Mackenzie Harper on base. Brings up first baseman Carmen Saalfeld with a chance to do something for her team. We talked a little bit about how Benicia got here. Hillsboro beat the Crusher Fast, started out by being U.S. Elite 12-0, and then beat Crusher Fast Pitch 7-5. Both of these teams playing early or morning or midday first round bracket games yesterday and then later in the afternoon. One to stay in the winner's bracket. Good job of running it out, but not quite. So, again, the Benicia playing good softball, keeping the 0 on the board. You did have the one error, that runner stranded. Going into the top of the 4th, Benicia with a 4-0 lead.
Well, I think the Outlaws coach's comment about their defense, sometimes it doesn't have as much pop, so to speak, or isn't as impressive as the hitting, but it's solid, and it shortens innings and shortens games for you when you can make all those routine plays. Plus, it gives your pitcher that much more confidence and keeps her pitch count down if you don't have to get extra outs in the inning.
And just the whole, there's so much mental about all the sports, right? And the whole thing of we're taking care of business, it's really demoralizing to have to stay on the field because you've made mistakes.
Absolutely, and that's, we talk about the game of adjustments. It's also a game of mental adjustments. Are you taking an error you committed in the field? Does that go up into the batter's box with you and prey on your mind, or are you able to flush that and move on? Good competitors are able to move on. Very short memories.
So Jen Boss is going to lead this off. She plays center field for the Outlaws, and she has wheels. Her successful bunt was one of the keys to that 3-run second inning. Being able to move up a runner and get to first base. Following that, we had a hit by pitch and then a 2-run single. So Jen Bossa can run. Now I'm wondering if she's going to try to push the ball past the pitcher, between pitcher and first, because second base is already on first base. I love to watch that and see what's available out there. She can more than bunt. You got to do everything to throw her out.
Nice job. Perfect play.
That's a bang play right there.
On what should have been a routine grounder and out by 3 steps coming out of the right side of the batter's box. That's a half step. Wow, was that close. It was less than a half step. That was super close. Brings up Megan Chambers. She's playing left field. She was hit by a pitch and then scored later in the top of the. Actually, didn't score, but she was hit by a pitch in the top or the. In the top of the second.
Nice play by the third baseman. Gets down behind the ball, Takes a good shuffle, good throw, and didn't get rattled.
So important to control the bottom of this lineup, and very successful. The bobbled ball is really tough when you've got a leadoff hitter, and Katie Chambers can run. I think we got to call that an E5. We take a look at this. It's just this bobble.
And
Right there.
there's little or no margin for error with the speed of this Outlaw club.
It'll be interesting to see if they send her. Good start by, oh, actually I thought that was a called strike, but it's called a ball. At least the scoreboard lists it as a ball. 1-1 count according to the scoreboard. Nice pitch there by Natalie Harrop. Chance to get out of this inning without any further harm.
Good stretch.
And a very successful inning here for the Diamondback 2002. They do have one runner reach on an error, but no harm done. So now we're theoretically halfway through the game. I guess we didn't have a fourth inning stretch, but on a scheduled 7-inning game, depending on the length, we're at the heading into the bottom of the fourth with Benicia Outlaws up 4-0. And the scores generally tend to tighten up. Early in the tournament, you've got teams that often are not well matched. And in fact, coming out of group pool play, you have your highest seeded teams playing your lowest seeded teams, I believe. So you'd expect on day one you're going to have some mismatches. But by the time we're reaching the middle of day 2 of bracket play, you really expect the games to be closer.
Absolutely, as the teams start to get matched more evenly.
Magdalena is Medio. Mags is Medio. A lefty hitter. Don't see too many of these Diamondback players laying the ball down. Might be interesting. Rachel McClure on the mound in her 4th inning for the Outlaws. Mags Medio is a designated player.
Down 4-0, unless it's to get on base, you're kind of out of the small ball business, in my opinion.
They definitely need base runners. They have a 1-1 count.
That ball will drop.
Yes, it will. So each team has a Texas leaguer at this point. I have no idea how that saying got started.
No, but it's one we like to bandy about.
We're going to see catcher Natalie Gold. Flew out to left field in her first at bat. And leadoff hitter on. Couldn't be better for the Diamondbacks. There's some very vocal fans up here, just behind us, to the side of us.
I'm sure Natalie has a particular pitch in mind and is looking to try to put one in the gap.
Glad to see the home plate umpire's strike zone isn't that wide. The ball is outside, and now we have a 1-1 count. That ball may be out of here. And it's right to the wall. And once again, this Outlaws team flirts with danger. This is the game I saw yesterday. 2 balls hit to the wall, and we've had 2 balls that hit to the fence today. She gets almost all of it. Just a little bit too far underneath it.
Just missed. Another solid play by the center fielder.
Boss has got speed. She gets to the ball. She gets there in plenty of time. There's There's no rushing to make the play at the end, and I really like that. Get to where the ball is going to be. Get yourself ready.
Get behind you, get set, come through the softball. Absolutely.
Make the catch. That's right. 0-1 count. That ball's very high. Second base. Not much could go wrong there. If Haley Randall drops it, she's got an easy force play at second. So that's going to bring up Natalie Harrop, and this is a chance for her to do herself some good. They need something. They need base runners. They need somebody crossing the plate. The Diamondbacks do.
Absolutely need to string a couple hits together and make something happen.
Usually your pitchers are good hitters. Let's find out.
There we go.
And yes, she handles that beautifully. First pitch hitting, and again, why not? It's a good pitch to hit. Watch that good job of hitting there. Slots it in nicely. So with 2 on and 2 out, that brings up Brianna Losa, third baseman.
Get a rally right here, Losa. Let's go.
Here's we have a courtesy runner.
I think that's a great rule that both the pitcher and catcher can come off the field.
Absolutely. Save the leg, speed the game up.
It's an opportunity for the Diamondbacks.
That's Jenna Hopkins running.
Ball's down and in. 1-0 count. And a 2-0 count. Diamondbacks wouldn't argue with a walk at all.
They need to keep it going. They need to capitalize on this.
There we go.
Wow, staying in front of the ball, staying with the ball. That's what they always say, right, Steve? Never give up on the ball. Keep it in front of you. And what could have been a dangerous situation, a booted ball and the bases loaded, instead is the third out of the inning. And just nice job of staying with the ball. You can see there, got her by almost a full step. Our freezes are slower than Ron's ability to freeze. Just our machine isn't fast enough to stay up with Ron. 4-0 at the end of 4.
That was a big out because that was, she gets unsafe. Now we have bases loaded. Now the pressure's on, but they seem to respond every time they get in that situation. They find a way to get the out.
And if you look at that inning, there was a ball hit to the wall. So again, there's a lot of factors that are going into that, but you're right. The Outlaws seem to have the ability to manage the situation.
Good teams find a way to keep their composure and to make plays.
And they're going to bring up the middle of their order. Lisa Cueva, 1 for 2 today. Both starting pitchers still in the game.
And this is where it gets interesting. Now kids start to see their third look at a pitcher.
And we've seen a lot of hitting take place the third time through the lineup, including the first game that we saw today. We had a game yesterday that was 1-0 going into the bottom of the 5th. Both our lineups literally had been through only twice. The game ended up 6-5, and that's going to be one of the easier outs.
I wish you'd like that one back. Caught it right off the end of the bat.
Yeah, and first pitch hitting, but again, I don't think that's an issue at all. I don't think they're trying to tire a pitcher out. These club pitchers are used to throwing a jillion pitches in a day. You want a pitch that you can hit. You've talked about it. What's the one pitch I'm looking for? I'm going to sit on it and try to drive it. Amanda Ajari playing third base. It's the next to bat. And that's a strike on the outside corner. And if we have anything down the left field line, you'll see a lot of smoke. It's not a fire. It is the barbecue here at Wallace Marine. And a cooler day at Wallace Marine and an overcast day.
Feels like it's about 10 degrees cooler today. It got a little warmish yesterday.
92 degrees, you could feel every degree of it too. That's a well-hit ball.
She went down, got a low pitch, and able to drive it up the middle for a base hit. Good bit of hitting.
Makes Amanda Ajay 2 for 3 today. Brings up Katie Gillum, designated player, also one of the pitchers on this team. She's 0 for 2. She had a fielder's choice, and she also grounded out to third. And that ball had eyes.
Good job staying inside the softball, turned on and hit in the 5-6 hole.
And again, first ball hitting. And she brings up a teammate, Jennifer McHugh, the catcher, who is 2 for 2 today, including driving one ball to the wall in center field. And that was an unfortunate. And I think that's pretty much a passed ball, Steve. I don't believe that ball went in the dirt at all, but when it did, it took off the force.
It also then allows them perhaps to pitch a little bit more carefully because now I have first base open.
That's going to score one.
Nicely done.
That's right, putting that ball into the air, nothing can go wrong when you're hitting it out that far. If it drops in, awesome. If it doesn't drop in, your runner tags from third. Brings up Alyssa West, 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to first base and watched a third strike. She gets a chance now with a runner on second base.
All right, Diamondbacks, let's go. Sit down, ladies. Good job, Carmen.
And that's the second grounder to first base. However, another run for Benicia on a couple hits. There were no errors. They leave one runner stranded. And so at the end of 4.5, Benicia has extended that lead to 5-0. Not sure what the Diamondbacks look at here. They have their 8th and 9th hitters coming up. Don't know if they would be pinch hitting. The 8th and 9th hitters have seen this pitcher only once in the game.
The Diamondbacks I don't know, have a lot of, there's only one extra name on the lineup card.
Talked about it yesterday. A number of these teams.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, a number of these teams have, people are taking summer vacations, a lot of things going on. A lot of these teams don't have full roster here.
And that's what I was trying to check, is that who's available and how many kids did you bring?
With Benicia, you see only 2 players going out of the dugout in between, so you have to wonder, are they here with a roster of 11? The roster in the book.
Yes.
Here we go, 2-6.
Yeah, Benicia just had one spare, well, they're playing 10 and then had one spare player, so that's their 11.
Benicia has a roster of 12, and it looks like 11 present. We're going to start this, though, with Alexis Murphy, our left fielder. She flied out to right field in the 3rd inning. She's leading off the 5th. Except I think that is not. I think that is Ellie Ravens who is hitting instead.
Okay.
And she's ahead in the count, 2-0.
Good place to be if you're the hitter.
Rachel McClure puts that one across, 2-1 count. That makes it a 3-1 count. Outlaws coach has got to be thinking, don't walk the leadoff hitter. She's just pinch hitting in the game.
Yes, let's don't make this. They'll give her a gift.
Nice job of hitting. Nice job of hitting there to drop in that single into right field. Going with the pitch, not trying to pull it.
Hitting it where it's pitched and taking advantage of her opportunity. Get some initial base runner, start off the inning.
Brings up Maddie Skull, the center fielder. Not looking to see bunts here, I don't think. Not down by 5.
I don't think so.
And Rachel McClure continues to be behind in the count. Got to be a little concerning to the coach. Well hit. And out of here. Talk about production from the bottom of your lineup. Set out to get a pinch hit single and then a home run 20 feet beyond the left center field fence.
From your 9-hitter.
From your 9-hitter. Great job of hitting there by Maddie Skull, the center fielder. And breathes some new life into this team.
And that brings up the top of the lineup.
That's right. What else are they going to be able to do? There's nobody out. Rachel McClure staying in the pitch. We know they have 2 other pitchers who are right now position players. Second baseman Katie Gillum. Third baseman Amanda Jari.
Mackenzie Harper, the leadoff hitter.
Ball outside.
Oftentimes hitting can be contagious. Let's see if it spreads throughout the Diamondbacks batting order.
Nothing about that would indicate anything different. 3 straight well-hit balls. Didn't have a fluke hit among those.
No. I think we're going to make a change.
Yeah. That is that Katie Gillum, number 14, and she's the one who pitched in the. Katie Gillum pitched in the first bracket game, the one that the Outlaws won 11-2 over the Washington Synergy. She pitched a complete game in that. Again, she faced only 3 batters over the minimum, which wasn't much of a minimum since it was a run rule game. I believe the game was over in 4 or 5 innings. But she gave up 2 home runs. 2 of the 3 hits that she gave up went out of the park. And again, we've seen the Outlaw pitchers hit hard and hit to the wall. Finally, one of the Diamondback players, their number 9 hitter and center fielder Madison Skull, took it over the wall, took it over the fence.
Yeah, Katie was the designated player, so that meant she hit only. She got a chance to get warm. She comes in, replaces the flex. Now they could be switching them, but I imagine they just dropped the flex and are now playing 9.
As I recall, she was well, she's 1 for 3 today, so she doesn't change in the fact that she's batting. But Carmen Salfeld comes up, and again, nobody's out yet in this inning. And the longer you can keep that going, you got a chance at a huge inning, and that, hard to say whether that's a pass ball or wild pitch, but regardless, The runner goes to second, so the force is off. A real opportunity here for the Diamondbacks to get at least one more run. Runner on second, nobody out, 1-0 count. And it's a 1-1 count. Umpire, I can't hear the umpire, and he calls quickly, but he's very slow with the gesture. Well, that takes off the bunt.
Hey, battling there now, huh?
1-2 count. Not that Carmen Saalfeld is going to bunt anyway. And did not go far enough around on that to be called, so it's a 2-2 count. They say 3-1 count. I don't buy that.
Good bit of base running by the runner at second.
And that was a very close play at first base. Again, dropping the ball, but keeping the ball in front. And one thing Amanda Jari has going for her, she's got an arm. And she needed every bit of that arm on this play. And that is a great call. You can see the foot's not yet on the bag. Great stop there, Ron. Brings up Mags Ismario. And out at the plate, and we need to see this. This is a huge play.
That happened.
This is a huge play, a suicide squeeze. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what we see. It's hard to tell when the tag took place on that. We're bringing it back. When does the hand get down on the plate?
Oh my.
And I believe that the safe call is correct. Tell me in the truck if we're right, but I believe that safe call is correct. And that is a correct play. That is a correct. And that makes things 5-3, and the tying run now comes to the plate. Okay, we have a difference opinion on the truck. Two umpires disagreed, and an umpire from 70 feet away made the call, Steve. And in our truck, we have one person saying out, and one person saying safe. I can't tell when the hand was down on the plate. If she got the hand down in time, I believe the tag was late.
That's why I have a scorebook and a microphone.
So this was a fielder's choice and an RBI. And there's only one out. And the Diamondbacks have certainly come back to make a game out of this.
Now two-run lead is a little sketchy.
And that might not be a two-run lead anymore. It is. And again, a ball to the wall. And we've seen this before.
That center fielder has made 3 plays on that.
And that was Natalie Dole, the catcher's third well-hit ball, but all in the air and too high to get out and too high to drop. And an E6.
Hard hit ball.
Yes, it is. Maddie Leach. And those balls are hard to handle. You can see the amount of chopped up dirt in front, and almost anything could cause a slight misdirection on that. Kind of hard to see there on our replay, but it means that the tying run's on base with Natalie Herrick now able to, in essence, to tie up her own game.
Natalie's hit a ball deep to center field and had a base hit to the left side, so she's got some pop.
And an 0-2 count, now not overly popular with the Diamondback crowd. It's amazing how many people are willing to help the home plate umpire.
Absolutely. Can't make everybody happy.
The rise ball stayed high. Good job by Natalie Harrop of not going for it. We haven't seen too many rise balls hit for anything decent. In fact, we haven't seen that many of them even hit.
Usually they work as a waste pitch. So far she's thrown a drop ball, a rise ball, and then a ball that broke in on her. So she's working up, down, and across the plate horizontally.
Kept herself alive. Ball was probably outside, but you can't risk it. The previous pitch was inside, and that was one that the Benicia Outlaws fans all wanted to see as a called third strike. But the count remains 2-2 with 2 out and 2 on. Score run is right. Nice job of hitting. Nice job of hitting. In order to bring home the 4th run, this inning continues. The Diamondbacks have batted around. Brings up Brianna Losa. Brings up Brianna Losa with a chance here, and with runners in first and third, this is my favorite situation in softball. What are you going to do? What are you going to do if there's runners? What are you going to do if there's batter? But a great job of hitting there, staying alive by Natalie Harrop and then getting a pitch that she could drive. And once again, if the ball's up the middle with any pace and goes by the pitcher, the next player to see it's the center fielder. Brianna Losa is 0 for 2 today, looking for her first hit. For the Diamondbacks, it'd be a perfect time. The Outlaws want to shut this off before they lose the lead altogether. And we have a 1-1 count.
Hey, have some fun out there, T-Fab, and wash your hands, and you've got this. Come on, Bree, base it, you've got this. Here we go, get hard now.
Kind of the first adversity for the Outlaws in this tournament. Okay, they will come back there, but a big inning there. A very big inning for the Diamondbacks 2002. They score 4 runs on 3 hits and an error. They leave 1.
You know, I think the key play in that is the squeeze. They gave him some momentum, and the pitcher who got the bunt down, the player who got the bunt down, also ends up scoring. So,
yes. No, it was excellent.
It kind of broke the game open a little bit there. It was a definite momentum change.
Well, there were actually 4 hits in that inning, and I think the main place to start on that inning was the big hit by Madison Skull also. For the pitch, the squeeze play that you mentioned, which again, had it been called an out, this is a 2-run inning. But and if our truck can't decide, that's how close it is. We have 5 looks at it. And the first time I thought she was out, but the second time I thought she got the hand down in time before the sweep tag came in. But it was a brilliant charge from third base any way you look at it. Now, Benicia have not faced this situation. They've not been in a close game in bracket play. What will they do now? How can they respond with Jen Bassa batting first? Ton of speed. If I was playing third base, I'd probably be up another 3 steps. And here she comes, those 3 steps.
They would like to add on at least 1 run, if not 2, to feel a lot more comfortable going into the final inning.
We are in the top of the 6th now.
Well done.
Yes, nice fielding because you know the runner can get down the baseline really fast. It's going to bring up Megan Chambers. So again, Brianna Losa with a nice fielding play there.
That's a big out because she gets on. She's likely to steal second.
And she's hard to keep from scoring, and she's a leadoff hitter.
And string 2 base hits together, she's scoring with her speed.
That brings up Megan Chambers. Megan was hit by a pitch and scored in the 2nd inning. Grounded out to 3rd in the 4th. There's a 1-1. That's a strike for 1. That was called the ball.
Catcher turned around to see just exactly where we missed there.
Yeah.
Help me out.
Nice play by the shortstop. That's a big out. And there does seem to be a real quickness to the step now. Those 4 runs make every part of the game better. It's going to bring up Katie Chambers. Take a look at that, and you can see nice reach there for that ball. Katie Chambers up with 2 outs. The Diamondbacks on the verge of getting a perfect half inning. Scoring 4 and then being able to close the door and not giving any runs up. Well, that would be huge for them. Both of these teams, one of these teams goes into the elimination bracket. And whichever one it is, they might be hard to handle in the elimination bracket. I think we see the winner of this game later. I think it's the winner of the previous game we see in the next round. We have another winner's bracket game, 4th round winner's bracket game coming up after this one. Haley Wren, again, Katie Chambers, 1 for 3, but has reached twice, got on in an error.
Great job, Matt!
They stay alive. Yeah, keeps the at-bat going.
One and done, Matt. Here we go, kid. Yeah, buddy,
Good job of getting through those fast players. All 3 of those players can run. But a 3-up and 3-down inning that's crowned by this grounder to second base. And again, a lot of times the hitters are reading the pitcher better, but this may be an instance of the other way around, that the pitching has been able to adapt to the hitting of the style of these Benicia Outlaws. So going into the bottom of the 6th, it's a 5-4 game. And we don't know, we're clearly stumped by the rule on time. So what we don't know is, what I was told today by Billy Powers is, they start an inning after the clock expires, and if that's the case, we're playing 7 innings no matter what happens here in the bottom of the 6th.
So if they start an inning, they're going to finish an inning.
But what I was told is when it goes to 0, they finish the inning and play 1 more.
Oh!
And if that's huge in this game, because it would mean the difference between this being the bottom of the 9th,
absolutely,
or the bottom of the 8th in baseball terms. Is this it, or is there another inning? And right now I'd have to proceed under the idea that there's another inning. Katie Gillen brings in the first pitch for a strike.
This is Ellie Ravens, our pinch hitter, who started off for him last inning.
And she chases an outside pitch for her second strike, 0-2, and we'll see what kind of 2-strike hitter she is. Keeps it back going.
Connect with it. Battle in there now.
0-2 pitch in the dirt. 1-2. Pretty standard setup, straightaway outfielders. A lot of space between second and short. Pitcher's got to field a lot of stuff in softball.
Way to battle in there.
She's extending this at bat with a couple foul balls. And this will be the 6th pitch of the at bat.
If you're a statistics person, with every foul ball in this situation,
That's going to drop, but it's foul.
the odds go up for the hitter to get on successfully, and the odds go against the pitcher.
Well, that I think speaks to the one where we saw the 7 consecutive foul balls and then a home run. But this is the 7th pitch of the at-bat, unless I didn't count the foul balls right, or we had a foul ball for the 2nd strike.
And again, I was told there'd be no math, so I can't help you there.
But at a minimum, this will be the 7th pitch and probably is the 8th pitch of the at-bat. And let's see how that rule goes. She's seen probably every pitch that Katie Gillum has. And this is Katie Gillum's first time through this part of the lineup, but not for long. Almost went around on that. That would have been interesting because that was a ball that went all the way to the backstop and stopped. If she'd gone around, she might have been able to make first base. A grounder to first base. And here's the player who changed the game. One of 2 plays that changed the game. But Maddie Scull, on her last at bat, drove the ball 20 feet beyond the left field fence to make this game 5-2, and really opened the door. You're just plain used to seeing plays that are super tight at first base. Great bunt, but a really nice play here. This is Amanda Ajari getting that ball out and getting it to second base.
He jumped on that.
Yes. Now we're back to the top of the lineup. Mackenzie Harper.
Could be trouble. Well done.
Yes. That's the second 3-4 put out at first base we've had in this game.
And those are tough. They take some communication.
That was a very close play, but the umpire got it right. And so 3 up and 3 down there. And now we go into what will be the last inning, unless we have a tie score at this end of the in the 7th inning. So I have to say that Billy's rule is right. When the clock runs out, you finish that inning and play 1 more.
Okay, and that may be an accommodation to bracket play versus pool play.
Well, what we saw in the last game was the game had been very fast, and then in the clock inning took forever, and the inning after it took forever. We know that kind of thing because the crew needed to eat lunch between games. And I want to thank the crew for doing such a terrific job. What people don't know is umpires and teams generally get a 1-game break in between the games they work, and we don't. We're working 3 consecutive games, or the winner's bracket games. We're seeing the teams that are making the tournament happen, and we're likely to make championship day tomorrow. And now Benicia, and Steve, what you said, you know they want to go into the bottom of the 7th with more than a 1-run margin. And this is going to bring up Haley Randall, who has 3 groundouts.
Yeah, they would certainly like to have a little bit more breathing room than just 1 run.
Haley Randall twice grounded out to pitcher, but in her last at bat grounded out to shortstop. And not quite the lightness to the step of the Outlaws at this point in the game. Nice job of pitching here, and really, Natalie Harrop has really come on stronger here at the end of the game. Getting the first hitter there is so important. I'll get Elisa Cueva.
Yes, she seems to have got stronger as she's worked throughout the game. Nice job of getting down behind that ball, and the first baseman helped her out with a good stretch. That's solid defense.
More first ball hitting, and it looked like a good decision. That's going to bring up with 2 out Amanda Ajari. She's 2 for 3 in this game. Singles to left and center, around grounding out to short. And that's a hit also.
Very good hitter, that one.
You know, you got a cleanup hitter that's 3 for 4. It's just the top of the lineup's just not been able to solve Natalie Harrop today.
Mm-hmm.
That'll bring up Katie Gillen. She's moved from designated player to pitcher.
And did have a base hit last time.
And not this time, though. However,
oh my.
well, that was interesting. Have to watch this on the replay. We've got an E3, or E6 rather, and then the ball didn't get far enough away though for Amanda Ajari to score. And there's no dugouts here, there's no throw going into the dugout and automatically getting the base. Don't have that rule. So Jennifer McHugh, catcher, she's 2 for 2, a double and a run scored, an RBI single, and a sacrifice fly. But the sacrifice fly is not a possibility here with 2 outs. Fouls off that first pitch to the right side, kind of off the end of the bat.
Looking here with a first base open and the batter behind her, I might, if I didn't pitch very carefully to her, I might walk her.
Yeah, because the batter behind her is 0 for 3, and she's 2 for 2 and hit the sac fly pretty hard. Yeah, that could be one of those unintentional, intentional balls.
Yep, you can be awfully careful.
Kind of surprised the catcher McHugh let that one go. Just not to her liking, but she may not see another good ball to hit. 1 and 2 count.
And paramount for her too is just keep the inning going.
Good job there by the catcher. Natalie Dole keeping that ball out in front of her. Steve's already pointed out, if the ball just goes straight back, not too bad, but if it goes laterally and goes 15 to 20 feet, the runner's going to score. Ooh, just creamed the ball.
He turned on that one.
Amanda Ajari had to get out in a hurry, but it's foul by 5 feet.
And that's why runners are taught to keep their lead at third base in foul territory, so if it does hit you, if you're in fair territory, it hits you, you're out.
Yep. Yeah.
I think Amanda was very intent on watching the ball to see if she could score on a pass ball, and here's the flies came right back at her. Easy now.
Chased a bad ball there. As great a game as she's had in hitting. No runs on 2 hits, there was an error, but they leave 2.
That was a big out.
Was it ever? Was it ever with 2 runners on? The difference between a 1, 2, or 3 run lead, each of those is incrementally huge. So here we go, the bottom of the 7th. And I think this is the best softball I've seen in the tournament, the most competitive between 2 really, really good teams. Alan Bushong, Steve Norris here with me, and we're really enjoying a top-notch game here in the winner's bracket, the end of the 3rd round of the winner's bracket at this 18U tournament.
So we've seen a lot of good softball, a lot of bang plays.
The runners are fast, the fielders have good arms, and it's just made for for a very entertaining game. Let's see, and the Diamondbacks in a pretty good part of their order, 2, 3, and 4.
And they're playing for 1 to tie, 2 to win.
You'd like to have that leadoff hitter because of her speed, but you're still at 2, 3, 4. An awesome place to be in the lineup. Carmen Salfeld, first base, leading off. She's grounded out 3 times today. We've talked about how important that leadoff hitter is. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's what happened. Wow, well hit ball, but right at Amanda Ajari. Gets up there for the ball. Huge play.
That may have been a double.
Yes, huge play.
That's a momentum killer, or could be, potentially.
Designated player Mags Ignario batting now. She's batting with a 1-ball count. One and one.
He does have a very deliberate.
Have to wait a long time. Works the inside. It's too far inside, and that's a 2-1 count. No, it's a 1-2 count.
Yes.
I missed that totally. And they're down now to their last at bat. Nice job there by Katie Gillum getting the strikeout, and now it's Natalie Dole. You know what? She's hit the ball well 3 times, but with no result. And I would like my catcher batting in this position. I think the catchers have such a great plate sense. First pitch in by Katie Gillum.
Well, you can see the outfielders showing a lot of respect. They're playing deep and straight away.
Deep everywhere, which is just interesting. That one's too far inside, and we have a 1-1 count. Oh, and that's game, and what a game this was. My goodness, Steve, this is why we come out and do these things. A well-hit ball, but right at the second baseman, right at Haley Randall. But what a well-played game. Obviously, the Outlaws have to be thrilled about staying in the winner's bracket, but this Diamondbacks 2002 team, I think, will be hard to handle in the elimination bracket.
Well, they're a solid ball club, and they can make some noise in this. The only disadvantage, again, is that they're going to have to play a lot of games, but sometimes you stay in your rhythm, and you don't get a chance really to lose your mojo, so to speak.
What we don't know is how many pitchers they have. There was 2 pitchers in the roster. Jenna Hopkins, who didn't play in that game, and 3. Emma Estep, and also the pitcher from today, Natalie Harrop. So, no, they just list 2 pitchers in this team.
Okay.
So we're going to wrap this up here. Great game. Glad that you could join us. We're going to have great games here remaining in the tournament. Final score, Outlaws 5, Diamondbacks 2002-4. For Steve Norris, for our entire magnificent crew, this is Alan Bushong saying thanks for joining us. Join us again for more softball from the softball capital of the world, Salem, Oregon.